Hello and welcome back to the When You're Podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today we're talking about when you're watching Hop. This is the Easter Bunny movie. I just gotta say, there's not a whole lot of Easter movies out there, right? Not ones that at least don't involve killing somebody. You know what I mean? Just like a happy-go-lucky Easter movie. About like a bunny. This is like the only one that came to my mind when I thought like, what's a good Easter, like an Easter movie. This was the first one that came to my mind, so I was just like, we're sorely lacking. I would imagine that there's a untapped potential in this market right here, right now. You know what I mean? There's just something missing about it. And they only made one of these movies. You would think, because I'm not trying to say that the cast is awful, but I'm just trying to say that, like, the cast is, they got something there, kind of, sort of. I don't know. They kind of made it look like, what am I thinking? It's kind of like a Easter Alvin and the Chipmunks kind of a vibe. And I think it's the guy who directed the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies who made this movie. So anyways, this movie is about a bunny who is supposed to become the Easter Bunny, and it's voiced by Russell Brand. I don't know. Listen, dude, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like the way that the bunny looks and the way that Russell, it kind of works. It works well to the movie's vibe, I suppose. Him being like this rebellious bunny and running away from Easter Island. So, this movie's all over the place, and it has, I don't know how much, yeah, okay. At first I was like, the movie's not really all about Easter anyways. Like, it's not like a big deal. Like how in Christmas movies, like Santa Claus is like, everything happens right before he has to deliver all the toys and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always, oh man, the night before Christmas, he has to, everything starts going down and starts happening, and then somebody else comes in. You know what I'm talking about? Like, there's a sense of urgency. There's a timeline, And in this Easter movie, it's not like necessarily a necessity. You know what I mean? Like, just delivering eggs. I didn't really understand that part or like really get it. Like, what are they fighting for here? But they're just fighting for the Easter Bunny title. Is kind of the whole thing about it. You know what I mean? So, that's why that's why there's no Easter movies. It's like there's no urgency. It's just joy. It's just happiness. You know what I mean? It's just like sweets and candy and spring, and it's all like happy-go-lucky time. You know what I'm saying? It's not really about like, oh, we have to do this, and this, and we have to get, because for Christmas, it's like we have to get all the elves together. We have to make all the toys. We have to put it in the sleigh, and then we have to go travel all the way around the world to deliver every single toy to every single kid who believes in Santa Claus, stuff like that. Whereas like Easter, it's kind of like, we put some chocolate eggs around the place and people find them. That's kind of the whole thing about it. It's like, well, that's not really too exciting. Who wants to be a part of that? You know what I mean? Because you don't necessarily have to deliver those. You could just throw them all the way across the world. You don't have to like put them in specific houses or apartments or like give them to every single kid. You just have to put it out there in the world, and then people will find them. There's not a big letdown as much as like Christmas maybe. You know what I mean? It's just, which is why like you have to make Easter exciting. How can we make Easter exciting? The big way is if we just like, I would think the big way to make, okay, so this is what they do. Instead of like trying to deliver, you know what, I'm thinking I'm thinking too much about this. All that matters is that the movie doesn't have like huge stakes for me. So when you're watching Hop, don't don't worry too much. I mean, there are some personal stakes involved, but no real like, oh my gosh, like the day will be ruined. Easter will be ruined. You know what I mean? Like nobody cares. So essentially, the story follows EB, who is like those are his initials. He's supposed to be the next. He's supposed to be the next Easter Bunny, but he's like, I don't want to be an Easter Bunny, Dad. I want to be a drummer, like a drummer. I want to go out there and drum. I want to be in a band. I want to drum the night away. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, yeah, I'm going to leave my responsibilities and go off and become a drummer, pursue my dreams. So he goes to Hollywood, he goes to California, and so he makes it there, yada, yada, yada. And then James Marsden, who's he's kind of like the go-to guy for like, he did the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, he does this movie, I can't think of any, he did, is Enchanted like a live action animated? It kind of is. All I'm trying to say is that he's done some, live action animated CGI work where it's like the person he's talking to is the rabbit, essentially, is all I'm trying to say here. So they meet up and he takes him in. He takes an EB and he tries to help him out to become a drummer. And then he kind of, and this was just the weirdest thing. He has like, apparently you're not supposed to see the Easter Bunny. Like how you're not supposed to see the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus, right? Like this is like, you can't see the Easter Bunny. And I'm like, who cares? It's just a regular bunny. But he's like, no, I saw the Easter Bunny put, eggs in my house. And now I become enamored with this. So he has like this obsession with Easter. He has an obsession with like the Easter Bunny or something like that. It's just weird. So he takes him in and I gotta say, dude, okay. How is being the Easter Bunny a huge pressure? Like you only have to wait one day of the year. Easter, right? That's when all the, I don't really, and then before all of that, right? All you have to do is just make candy. Like how difficult is that? I don't get it, dude. I really don't get it. You just have to wait one day of the year and then it goes over. It's over. It's done, right? Like I really don't get what he's running away from, what responsibilities are really tying him down. Because after Easter, he's got 300 other days to just do whatever he wants, right? He could still become a drummer and be the Easter Bunny, which is kind of the direction that they're going. Now, I think that, maybe he's like, I guess it's not so much of like a pressure or something like weighing him down. It's more so like, I don't want to be obsessed with Easter. Right? That's the only thing I can think of is that like, I don't care about the chocolates or the spring flowers or this or that, right? Like he's not like a big fan of it. So he doesn't want to get so attached to it or become like his dad per se. So he just kind of wants to find a different path for himself, carve a different lane, if you will. And that's kind of what he's doing. And I can't fault him for that, that makes sense to me. But I'm just saying that like, as far as him running away is like, you don't have to run away. Maybe just be, I mean, if he was honest from the beginning about like what he really wanted, but I guess there's like this, the family business. It's like weighing you down, and you don't want to disappoint or hurt people, so you're just kind of like, I'll just run away. That's kind of what it's all about. Is like he doesn't want to disappoint him, or it's like it's not what he really wants, but he doesn't want to speak up about it. So then instead he runs away. So it's about not facing your feelings. But being a drummer's pretty cool. Being like, I guess what they usually do with like animals is like, if they don't want to follow in like some sort of footstep, they become like a dancer or like a singer or like some sort of, a drummer is kind of like a cool thing. Being a drummer is kind of like it would be a little weird because he can't like hold drumsticks, but he does in the movie. All I'm trying to say is that like a rabbit drummer makes good sense. It's actually a pretty cool idea. So then get this, right? He gets an audition for David Hasselhoff. So David Hasselhoff is in this movie, which is like, I thought he was so much fun in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. But in this movie, I'm just kind of like, what is he doing? What is he like? I feel like my childhood nostalgia from like watching him in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie into this movie is kind of like, okay, he's here, but like, what does he do? What is he doing? But he kind of just helps EB get his fulfillment to be a drummer, to be in a band and perform at a show. That's kind of what the whole thing is here. So David Hasselhoff gives him the opportunity to perform, and I gotta say, dude, I mean, they make drumming look cool in this movie. I mean, if there's one positive throughout this whole movie, it's definitely the drumming. It's definitely him just holding his, hitting the drums to music and just like having fun. Like that's one thing. And that kind of makes me a little envious. It just kind of makes me look at him and be like, man, I wish I could follow along on the drums like that. You know what I mean? But I'm not coordinated enough for that, I guess. Or maybe I haven't practiced, Maybe I probably could be good at it, or like decent. I bet you I could probably, you know what? No. Whatever I said before, I don't believe that. I know for a fact I could play the drums. I just need like the full set, and I need like time to like focus and really understand how to do it. That would be cool. That would be fun. That'd be a nice little test in the future. I'm gonna do the exact same beat that he does in the movie. It's gonna be cool. Gonna be dope. So anyways, he performs for David Hasselhoff, and he's like, great, a drumming rabbit. How can I go wrong with this decision? So he basically tells him, listen, I have a party coming up. You can play there and all will be well. And so he's like super excited. He's like, yes, finally, I get my big shot, my big moment, blah, 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 blah. And meanwhile, during all of this, he's being hunted down by his father from Easter Island. So he like calls in like a favor. He's like, listen, I need it's supposed to be like an elite small team of bunnies called the Pink Berets. Yes. It's like supposed to be a play on words with the actual Green Berets in real life, and these are the Pink Berets. They actually have a pretty cool theme song. It's kind of cool, kind of funny, kind of like, okay, I don't know why they need to like go this hard about it, but especially because they're kind of like goofy. They're not 100% serious. Like they have that one team member who just like sucks. So long story short, he gets the gig and he's like, woohoo, I finally get to perform, right? and he's getting hunted down by these pink berets, and he kind of has to like run away and hide from them so that way he can eventually play, because if they find him they're going to take him back home, and he doesn't want that. And so in the middle of all of this, him and I can't believe I'm blanking on his James Marsden. There we go. James Marsden. Him and James Marsden, or Fred, I think is his name. Fred and EB are developing a good friendship. And Fred is like, I love Easter so much. I've always been in love with the Easter Bunny since I saw it that day. I thought it was so mystical and cool, and it was capable of doing so much magic and tricks and stuff. I want to be the Easter Bunny. And EB's looking at him like, are you out of your mind? You want to be the... You can't be... You're not a bunny, you idiot. You're a human being. You can't do that. And, well... what ends up happening next is there's kind of like you know when I said before that like there's no Easter movie without like death in it? Well, in this movie there's a fake death in it. So apparently the way that the movie works, the way that it flows into it, right? Fred, Fred kind of kills EB, but it's not EB. EB made like a dummy of him, and then Fred like killed it. You know what I'm saying? Like they just killed it, and then after he kills it, EB runs away, right? His death is faked. So then Fred gets kidnapped by the Pink Berets, and they take him to Easter Island where he will be punished. And it is during this time that he meets EB's dad, who's the actual Easter Bunny, who's looking to retire. I mean, this movie is just like so... This movie is just... It makes no sense. Anyways, he gets kidnapped. He's in Easter Island. He meets EB's dad, who's also captured and like tied up and like going to be punished and killed through. I think they boil them. That's like supposed to be what happens. They boil the Easter Bunny and they boil Fred, and this is all done by a chick, a chicken, a little, not a chicken, a chick, like a little baby chick who doesn't want there to be an Easter Bunny anymore. He wants to be the Easter Bunny, but instead he's going to be the Easter chick because they lay the eggs. Like, what's the point of the bunny? And I have to agree with this chick. But, you know, obviously the story won't let them win. The bunny has to be star of the show. So, EB, right? He's back and he's getting ready for David Hasselhoff's show. He's like, yo, I'm going to be a drummer. Finally, my dreams are coming true here. I finally get to do what I want. But then he's like, but wait, that guy that helped me get to where I am, I left him. I have to go back. I have to save him. I have to save him and my father. So what happens next is he ends up leaving the show, right? He gets out of there and he has to go back to Easter Island to save Fred and to save his dad. And in the mix of all of this, the chick is like, the chick is trying to, what's it called? Transform himself into like this half bunny, half chick kind of a thing. So, you know how like some people will like stab themselves or inject themselves with something and then they'll like transform or get like super strong or whatever? Yeah, that's essentially what this chick is doing. He's stabbing himself with like rabbit DNA, and now he's like, I'm gonna be a rabbit so that way I can be the Easter bunny. And he becomes like this mix between a chick and a bunny, and he ends up fighting EB, and EB is like, I'm going to save my father and Fred. And the whole time Fred is like, hold on, we've been tied up with black licorice, I can just eat, it's like, duh, no kidding, you could just eat right through it, you know what I mean? And it's like, you could honestly just rip it apart, how weak is this guy, right? So EB is trying to fight, they fight, whatever. And then eventually they get free, Fred and the Easter Bunny. They all like team up together in a way, like, so there's supposed to, this movie is just, I get why they don't do a lot of Easter movies. Okay, so there's this sleigh. There's supposed to be this egg sleigh where they, like the Santa sleigh where they deliver all the toys. Yeah, they deliver all the eggs from this sleigh. And apparently the way this works is they have to land it like an airplane in order to get it ready to go out into the world. And so to trick one of the other chicks that's supposed to be helping the new Easter Bunny chick guy or whatever, they trick him into like dancing and messing up the sleigh and whatnot. It's very weird. So he's supposed to like flag down the sleigh and guide it to where it needs to be. But EB starts playing the drums, and because he has like this, the chick has this unconscious movement with his body. Every time he hears music, he like directs the sleigh into the wrong position, in the wrong direction. And long story short, the sleigh crashes down, and then they beat the chick who was trying to take over the Easter Bunny role and whatnot. And then there's a very heartfelt connection between father and son. And then, I mean, never give up on your dreams, kids. I mean, just keep going for what you want, because in this movie, a human being becomes the Easter Bunny, like, co-Easter Bunny with the actual Easter Bunny. So EB's dad crowns EB Easter Bunny, and he also crowns Fred as the Easter Bunny, and they're co-Easter Bunnies. So Fred is more so in charge, and EB is more of like a freelancer. He can kind of like pop in whenever he wants and like hang out and stuff, but he's going to be a drummer full time. That's kind of like the way that it's going to flow, is like so Fred is like 51%, and then EB is like 49%. It's not like a 50-50, it's like a 51-49, He's actually like the majority leader of being Easter Bunny, and EB is kind of like, I'm just going to do whatever I want, and I'm going to hang out, and then when Easter comes around, that's when I'm going to like fulfill my duties, my role, you know what I mean? Which is, look, I didn't say this movie was perfect. I said it was an Easter movie, okay? And it was like one of the only Easter movies I could think of. But anyways, I mean, happy Easter, guys. Did I forget to mention that? Happy Easter. I'm so, I'm not like I used to enjoy Easter. I used to go scavenger hunting for eggs, and it's always fun, right? To like go out there, get a little chocolate or some candy and stuff. Like, who doesn't like that? Especially as a kid. It was definitely very nice growing up, and it has brought me closer to it. It's a part of it that I like. But when when it comes around now, obviously I don't go Easter egg hunting anymore. It's more so for the kids. And that sometimes gets to me. That gets to me sometimes. But overall, when you're watching Hop, don't overthink it too much. Just sit there and relax. Don't think to yourself, "Oh my gosh, what am I going to do?" Just sit there and relax. Don't think about the plot. Don't think about anything. Just sit there and just go with the flow. You can't go wrong with it. So, anyways, happy Easter, guys. Hope you guys have a great one, and I'll see you guys all next time. Thank you.